All right. Hello, world. Okay, here we are. Super. So tonight, we don't have a single featured reader. What we're going to be doing is we have two poets that we have some people that are going to be reading some poems from. And so first we're going to be hearing some poetry by Nelly Sachs, translated by Joshua, I think it's going to be Weiner, one of those two. And I'm going to give like a general introduction, and then our readers will go ahead and read it. Flight and Metamorphosis marks the accumulation of Nelly Sachs' development as a poet. Sachs, who was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1966, speaks of her own condition as a refugee from Nazi Germany, her loneliness while living in a small Stockholm flat with her elderly mother, her exile, her alienation, feelings of romantic bereavement, and her search for the divine. Forced into a journey of endless change, Sachs created her own path forward. From these sublime poems, she emerges as a visionary who harnesses language's essential power to create and transform our world. Joshua Weiner's translation are more than a half century to elucidate Sachs' enduring poetic power and relevance. So we're going to go ahead and start with Amalie, and then Sarah's going to take the second part. So Amalie's up first.
Thank you. This has been a very challenging poem to read. It could partly be because of the translation. It's a beautiful poem. But anyway, you'll see. Flight and Metamorphosis. Who dies here last will carry the pain. Sorry, I'm going to start over. I've been reading this for weeks and I still can't get it right. Who dies here last will carry the grain of sun between his lips, will thunder crack the night in death throe rot. Blood-sparked dreams will shoot from his shoulders in a jagged flash, branding imperial skin with the mystery of affliction. Because Noah's Ark went down star-figured avenues, whoever dies here last will have shoes filled with water, where a fish with homesick back sail draws black, dissolving time into its tomb. This is the dark breath of Sodom and the burden of Nineveh cast off at the open wound of our door. This, the sacred writing in flight from the land, all its letters climbing skyward, feathered blessedness, finding refuge in a honeycomb. This, the black Laocoon cast on her eyelid, perforating millennia, uprooted grief tree, sprouting in our pupil. These are salt-stiffened fingers teardropping in prayer. This, his ocean's toe dragged back into the rushing shell of secrets. This, our ebb-starved agony from our moldering sand. The hunter, my constellation, takes aim at a secret blood point, unrest, and the footstep flees without asylum. The hunter, my constellation, but the wind is no house, just licks the body's wounds like an animal. Yet how should we pull time from the sun's golden threads? Coil night for the silk butterfly's cocoon? Oh, darkness, spread your legation wide for the blink of an eye. Rest on the flight. So far out in the open, cushioned in sleep, in flight from the land with love's heavy luggage. A butterfly zone of dreams like an open parasol held up against the truth. Night, night, night-dress body stretching the emptiness while space expands from dust without song. Sea with prophetic tongues of spray rolls over the death shroud till sun again sows each second's blaze of pain. In flight, what great welcome along the way, shrouded in the wind's shawl, feet in the sand's prayer, which can never say amen because it must move from wing to fin and further. The sick butterfly soon again knows the sea. This stone with the fly's inscription has dropped into my hand. In place of home, I hold the metamorphoses of the world. Dancer like a bride from blind space, you receive the budding desire of creation's distant days. With your body's musical avenues, you graze on the air there where the earth seeks new entry to birth. Through night lava like eyelids opening softly, the first cry of creation's volcano flickers. In the branches of your limbs, the premonitions build their twittering nests. Like a milkmaid in twilight, your fingertips tug the secret sources of light till you, pierced by the trial of evening, deliver your eyes to the moon for the night watch. Dancer twisting in labor, then spent, you alone bear on your body's hidden cord the God-given twined jewels of death and birth.
Thank you. I'll let her introduction stand for mine as well. I was reading this last night, and I'm intrigued to see what it sounds like aloud, because sometimes you notice different things. Child, in the whirlwind of departure, pushing your toes, white flaming foam against the burning ring of the horizon, seeking death's secret way out. Already voiceless, exhaling smoke, lying as the sea lies with just depth below, tearing at the mooring with waves of longing. Child, your head buried now, the seed pod of your dreams grown heavy, in final surrender, ready to sow other land. With eyes turned back toward the mother ground, you cradled in the century's rut, where time, with ruffled wings, drowns, stunned in the great flood of your end without end. But maybe, in a smoke cloud of error, we have created a wandering cosmos with the language of our breath. Have we, time and again, sounded the fanfare of the beginning, shaped the grain of sand, quick as wind, before, once more, there was light above the bud of the embryo? And again, we are encircled in your districts. And again, though we don't recall the night, nor the depths of the sea, with our teeth we bite off the star veins of words. And still we work your field behind death's back. Maybe the detours of man's fall are like the secret desertions of meteors, marked in the alphabet of storms alongside rainbows. And who knows the course of becoming fertile, how seeds bend up out of depleted soil for the suckling mouths of light. Those driven from home, wind-whipped with the death vein behind the ear, slaughtering the sun, cast off from lost customs, following the water course and the weeping rails of death. They still hold in the cave of the mouth a word hidden for fear of thieves. They say, rosemary, and chew a root pulled from the field, or taste night after night. Departure, they say. It's time, as a new wound opened on the foot. Their body will be devoured by the salt of torment. Skinless, eyeless, did Job form God. If someone comes from afar with a language that maybe seals off its sounds, with a mare's whinny, or the chirping of young blackbirds, or like a gnashing saw that chews up everything in reach. If someone comes from afar, moving like a dog, or maybe a rat, and it's winter, dress him warmly, for who knows, his feet may be on fire. Perhaps he rode in on a meteor. So don't scold him if your rug, riddled with holes, screams. A stranger always has his homeland in his arms, like an orphan, for whom he may be seeking nothing but a grave. How many homelands play cards in the air as the refugee passes through the mystery? How much sleeping music in the wooded thicket where the wind, all alone, plays the midwife. Lightning split, the alphabet spurgewood sows, in devouring conception, God's first word. Fate twitches in the blood-coursing meridians of a hand. Everything is endless and hung on the rays of a distance. Oh, that one understands so little, as long as the eyes know only evening. Windows and doors open as if knocked off track before you're ready for departure. Unrest in flames, hiding places for night moths, beginning to pray for home. Until at length your heart, dreadful hooked wound, was torn into healing, heaven and earth, as cinders kissing in your gaze. O soul, forgive my wanting to lead you back to so many hearths of rest, which is only a dead oasis word.
Thank you, Sarah. So that is a book-length poem, and that was an excerpt from it. It's called, what was it, Flight and Metamorphosis, right? So if you want to look that one up. So Berthold Brecht was one of the most influential playwrights of the 20th century. Brecht was born in Augsburg, Bavaria, 1898. And the two world wars directly affected his life and works. His plays were banned in Germany in the 1930s, and in 1933 he went into exile, finally ending up in Santa Monica, California in 1941, hoping to write for Hollywood. Eventually he drew the attention of the House on Un-American Activities Committee, because he was a raging Marxist. Although he managed to deflect accusations of being a communist, he moved to Switzerland, and then after the hearings, and he eventually ended up dying in East Germany. So this is not one long poem, this is several poems, and Steve could start us off with Brecht.
Okay, I'm going to read 4 poems by Mr. Brecht. The first one is called What the Leader Does Not Know. According to the views of many average people, the leader does not know that the education minister is always drunk, and his chief, the Workers' Front, is never sober, that his propaganda minister lies whenever he opens his trap, that his war minister is preparing for a war, that his police minister has evidence against his aviation minister that permits his ministers of industry to deliver poor quality planes to the state. According to the view of many average people, the leader also does not know that in his prisons and camps, people are beaten to death, that children in his youth organizations denounce their own parents, that their winter relief money disappears and some live on it right into summer, that the sons of German mothers are being sold to Spain, that the heads of industry have tripled their profits. If the leader knew all of this, which he does not know according to the views of many average people, would he then fetch a few honest people, at best out of one of his concentration camps, and ask them to hang a sign around his neck stating, "I led the nation into the abyss," and thus, with the sign around his neck, walk through the ruined land so that everyone might get the idea? Would he? What do you think? It's okay. The second poem is called The Regime as Artist. A great deal of money is being spent for the construction of palaces and stadiums. In this, the regime is like a young artist who is not afraid to go hungry to make his name famous. However, the hunger the regime is not afraid of is the hunger of others, namely the people. Like an artist, the regime has access to all kinds of supernatural strengths. Without being told a thing, it knows everything. It never was trained for what it does. It never learned anything. Its education is rather deficient, though in a magical way, it is capable of taking part and regulating everything, even things it doesn't comprehend. It is generally known an artist can be stupid and still be a great artist. The regime is just like an artist on this level as well. The way they say of Rembrandt, he should not have painted differently. He would not have painted differently if born without hands. You might say the regime, had it been born without a head, would not govern differently. The amazing thing about artists is their ingenuity. If one listens to the regime's descriptions of existing conditions, you have to say how ingenious they are. Artists have only contempt for economics, and the regime is well known for its contempt for economics. Of course, it has some rich patrons, and like every artist, it lives on money it borrows. Here's another poem called The Neighbor. I am the neighbor, the one who turned him in. We don't want an agitator here in our building. When we hung out the swastika, he didn't hang one out. When we asked him why he didn't, he asked us as if we had any room in our little apartment where we live with 4 children for a flagpole. When we told him that we believed in the future, he laughed. We didn't like that they beat him up in the stairwell and tore up his jacket too. They shouldn't have done that. None of us have a lot of jackets. At least he is gone now, and the building is quiet. We have enough worries, so it's important to at least have peace and quiet. Of course, we see how some folks look the other way when they meet us. But those who took him away say that we did the right thing. This last poem is called Song of the Stormtrooper. From hunger I grew drowsy, drilled by my belly's ache. Then someone shouted in my ear, Germany, awake. Then I saw many marching toward the Third Reich. They said, since I had naught to lose, I followed where they led. And as I marched, there marched Big Belly by my side. When I shouted, bread and jobs, he cried. The leader wore high boots, I stumbled with wet feet. Yet all of us were marching to the self-same beat. I wanted to march leftward. Squad's right, the order was. I blindly followed orders for better or for worse. And towards some new Third Reich, but scarcely knowing whither, pale and hungry men and well-fed marched together. They gave me a revolver and said, now shoot our foe. But as I fired on his ranks, I laid my brother low. It was my brother. Hunger made us one, I know, and I am marching with my own and my brother's foe. So I have lost my brother. I wove his winding sheet. I know now by this victory, I wrought my own defeat. Thanks.
Bertolt Brecht is a complicated poet. But one of the things that I notice when reading through these is the kind of the parallels that he's writing about in the times that we're living in. So I got 3 of them. This first one's called When Atrocities Come as Thick as Rain. Not a lot of happy poems with Bertolt Brecht. Just have to kind of point that out. He was not light. When atrocities come as thick as rain. The way a man comes with an important letter to an office window after hours and the window is closed. The way a man comes who wants to warn a city of an impending flood, but speaks another language, and he won't be understood. The way a beggar who knocks on a door for the 5th time, where he got handouts 4 times before, and now is hungry for the 5th time. The way a man whose blood is flowing out of a wound, who is waiting for a doctor, and his blood continues to flow. Thus, we come and report that atrocities are being committed against us. When it was reported for the first time our friends were slowly being slaughtered, there was a scream of horror. When 100 were slaughtered, but when 1,000 were slaughtered and there was no end to the slaughter, there was a general silence. When atrocities come as thick as rain, then no one any longer calls out, stop. When the crimes stack up, they become invisible. When the sufferings become unbearable, the screams become inaudible. The screams, too, fall like rain in summer. These are almost painful to read. This is called the book burning. Book burning. When the regime ordered that books with corrupt knowledge be publicly burned, and from all quarters oxen were forced to pull carts of books to the burning pyres, a cast-out poet, one of the best, appalled, found that his books had been forgotten. He hurried to the writing table, anger in his sails, and wrote a letter to those in power. Burn me, he wrote with a vaunting pen. Burn me, don't do this to me, don't exclude me. Haven't I always told the truth of my books? And now I'm treated by you as if I were a liar. I'm ordering you to burn me. Okay. And this is the last one here. All of us or none. Slave, who is it that shall free you? Those in deeper darkness lying. Comrade, these alone shall see you. They alone can hear your crying. Comrade, only slaves can free you. Everything or nothing, all of us or none. One alone, his lot can't better. Choose the gun or the fetter, everything or nothing, all of us or none. You who hunger, who shall feed you? It's bread that you will be craving. Come to us. We too are starving. Come to us, and we will feed you. Only hungry men could feed you. Everything or nothing, all of us or none. One alone can't his lot can't better. Choose the gun or the fetter. Everything or nothing, all of us or none. Beaten man, who shall avenge you? On whom the blows are falling, hear your wounded brothers calling. Weakness gives us strength to lend you. Comrade, come, let us avenge you. Everything or nothing, all of us or none. One alone his lot can't better. Choose the gun or the fetter. Everything or nothing, all of us or none. You, a ruined man, shall I dare it? He who can no longer bear it counts the blows that arm his spirit, taught the time by need and sorrow, strikes today and not tomorrow. Everything or nothing, all of us or none. One alone his lot can't better. Choose the gun or the fetter. Everything or nothing, all of us or none. So a big thank you to Amalie and to Sarah and to Steve for reading these, kind of crazy poems. I appreciate you. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of a break. We got 2 lists over there, and we have like a bucket, right? So one of the lists is for the open mic. So if you want to read the open mic, you want to sign up on the open mic list. One of the lists is the mailing list. So if you want to be on the mailing list, you sign up on the mailing list. And the bucket is because we're starting to raise funds for the 2027 Salem Poetry Festival. So if you want to throw a couple bucks in there for that, that'd be super. So we'll take a couple minutes break, stretch your legs and everything, and then come back for the open mic.